Krishna. Welcome, everyone. We are here with Karuna. She is a Brijbasi from Vrindavan. She is, or maybe are you one of Lalita's friends or one of Vishaka's friends? Which village are you from? Which village?
Me?
Yes. I was in, what was that place? I was in Vrindavan and I took a picture of this.
I never went to Vrindavan.
Oh my God, you will love it so much.
Really?
You will absolutely love it. Now here's one thing that's amazing about Vrindavan. They have what is called, what is it called? It is called, how do you say sand in Sanskrit?
Sand?
Sand.
How do you say sand?
Raman Reti.
Huh?
Raman Reti.
Raman Reti.
Raman Reti, yes. So there's Raman Reti, and there's some other places as well. Can you imagine? Have you ever baked a cake?
To what?
Have you ever made a cake before?
Of course.
Yes. So how soft is flour?
Very soft.
They have sand in Vrindavan that feels like that. It looks white, like all-purpose flour, and feels just as soft.
Yeah, I went there.
And
My mom ran there, but I didn't. Can you actually use it for making dough and stuff like that?
You could try, but it's sand. It is sand, but it is so soft. Actually, there is a story of Radharani cooking something using the soil of Vrindavan and giving it to a sage. I think it's Durvasa Muni. I don't know the whole story. That just kind of came to my head. But the sand is so soft and white, it looks exactly like someone poured bags and bags and bags of all-purpose flour on the trail.
Wow.
If you're walking to some of the places near Govardhan, there's these trails, and you have to take your shoes off and feel the soft. You can't even call it sand because it feels like flour. It's amazing. I took a picture of this young gopi. She had a pot on her head and she had hazel eyes. And I could just see you there. You could be one of those people there hanging out in Vrindavan. All right. Okay, we got another fella jumping in. So how's everybody doing? Dana K, how you doing? Not available right now. Naga Shayan Prabhu, how are you doing?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Danvat Pranam.
Naga Shayan Prabhu, have you ever been to Vrindavan?
No Prabhu, no, not yet. I'm willing to go actually, but anytime like I plan for Vrindavan, some obstacle will come and I'll cancel my plan. It's happening like that.
You gotta get over that obstacle. Oh my God.
Yeah, Prabhu. Yeah.
Carmen G, how are you doing?
Hello, Hare Krishna. I'm doing well. How are you?
Fantastic. When are we all going to Vrindavan? Next February?
That would be amazing.
Let's do it. I found tickets to Vrindavan from LA. If you get yourself to LA to Delhi, round trip tickets. Last time we went, it was $370. Yes, Ken. Wow. Absolutely ridiculous price.
Like $375 or like
like I'm flying to Florida or something. Very ridiculous, very low price. So we all got tickets. Yeah. You have to lay over in China. Yeah.
The problem here is $1 is 20 liras,
But you're-
20,000 liras.
Yeah, but you're closer, so maybe
Huh?
you're closer to India than us.
Really?
So maybe
Mom,
Yeah.
are we closer to India than New
yeah,
Yorkers?
very much closer.
Oh,
Yeah, if
so
if
we
you
can.
yeah, so if
Are you
you
talking to me?
oh wait, there's
I'm
Carlos.
in call. I just said. Hello,
Carlos,
Hare Krishna. Hare
let's
Krishna.
offer our obeisances to Carlos. He is here. Welcome,
No,
Carlos.
please. Thank
Hare
you. My
Krishna.
obeisances unto you. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah, we've been missing your association.
Likewise, Prabhu.
Aye. Anna Ji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Bienvenidos.
How are you?
Very good, very good.
How are you?
Vent. Okay, so
I'm
we're
with my daughter here, ready for the class.
so let's open up our Bhagavad Gītā. Let me pull it up on the screen. Dun, dun, dun. And Ken, while we pull it up on the screen, any questions you have?
No, I mean, not really. I mean, it's my first time to your class, so I'm just here to listen and observe. And no questions yet. Thank you.
Okay. So let's see. Let me just make the screen a little bigger, and I'll share it. All right, and let me turn on the light in this room. There we go. A little more light. So Dana K, do you remember what the previous verse was about? Or Carmenji, do you remember what the previous verse was about? Who can remember? I'm gonna close some of the stuff, taking up space.
Like something like people go to the demigods to worship for material things, but also the demigods receive devotees of Krishna to get things that are spiritual. But to worship the demigods isn't the proper way to go, in a sense.
Okay, so yeah, there was a whole section about worship of the demigods that started in verse 20. Then it kind of concluded in 23. And the last one, it was saying that a person is looking for antavat tu palam tesham. Let's see who remembers. Karuna, what is palam?
Fruit.
Fruit, yes. Antavat tu palam tesham. So anta is where we get the English word and. So a person who's attracted by the fruits of this world, the things of this world that are temporary, they likely may go to worship the demigods, who themselves have birth and death, who themselves are also temporary. And their boons are also temporary. And people who approach in that way, who are kind of motivated in that way, are called alpa, swalpa, made very small-minded, not very intelligent. Now here Krishna is criticizing another group, another type of mentality. This is discerning what is, so here's the verse. Avaktam vyaktim apanam manyate mam abhudayaha param bhavam ajanato mama avyam anutamam. Avyaktam vyaktim apana manyate mam abhudayaha param bhavam ajanato mama avyam anutamam. Carlos G, what is Buddha? Buddha mean? Buddhim.
Bhuta means intelligence, knowledge,
Intelligence. So what is Abudha?
no intelligence.
No intelligence. So the previous verse, he said, Swalpa Meda, small brained, small intelligence, small, not very bright. And this one, he's saying, these people, no brain, no intelligence. And who are the people who are he's saying that have no intelligence? Those who think that he previously was something avyaktam, that he was not a being, that he was not manifested, that he was not a person, and is now vyaktam, now is appearing as something solid. Manyate, I think manyate means to think. Let's see. Yep, manyate means to think. Person who thinks like that. And so that is the kind of foundational philosophy of the Shripad Shankaracharya, Adi Shankara, the Advaitist Vedantist. There is a long purport, but I wanted to, let's look here. Atite, this is, so raise your hand if you know the story of when Brahma kidnapped Krishna's friends. Okay, 1, 2. Okay, and Anna, do you know when Brahma kidnapped Krishna's friends? Dana K, Carmen?
No, Prabhu, I don't know.
Okay.
No, I read the story, but
Okay.
I don't remember it fully.
Okay.
I know it.
She knows it. She knows it. Nagashayan, I'm sure he's, you know?
Prabhu. Yeah, I know, Prabhu.
Yes. So I'll tell the story very shortly because it's quoted. There's a verse of Brahma quoted by Srila Prabhupada, but it's also quoted by I think Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur. I think even Baladeva Vibhushan. They both, in commenting on this verse, they quote the same one. So let me just stop the screen share. We'll go here. So Hare Krishna. So the Brahma, let's zoom out. Let's start from the outside.
What do you mean zoom out?
Zoom, like you've seen in Google Maps.
Yes.
So when you go like, okay, Google Maps, you like on that, you like zoom into the house, and then you go when it gets bigger.
And then you can see the whole earth.
Then you see like the city, and you see the country, and then you see the earth, and then you see the planets, and then we're gonna go farther than that. Okay, so first you have Mahavishnu, also known as Karana Dakshai Vishnu. And he is so
complete. Is this completely zoomed in or completely zoomed out?
almost completely zoomed out.
Okay.
So you have Karana Dakshai Vishnu, and he is so big that universes come out of his pores, as just like sweat comes out of our pores. When we play a lot, we're going to start to sweat. Universes, like little bubbles, come out of his pores, and they come out. If we read chapter 9 of Bhagavad Gītā, Krishna says, Kalpakshaya punastani kalpado vrishajamyaham. He says, at the end of the kalpa, they exit his body and then they emerge back into his body. And I think that's actually.
I have a question.
Yes.
How do the bubbles come out? Like he breathes out and then the bubbles come out from the water in his body, or what?
They come out like bubbles out of his pores, like instead of sweat, if you can imagine bubbles coming out of your skin.
Yeah, but how does it happen?
He just does it. He does it. Bubbles come out of his skin. But
he says like bubbles come out of my skin, or
he just does it. He just breathes out and the bubbles come out. And he breathes in and the bubbles come in.
it's like when they come in, it's like a magnet. You're like pulling the bubbles inside.
Yes. And he's so big that each bubble, inside each bubble, is the entire universe. Everything that we know is in that bubble. All the planets, all the galaxies, everything in that little bubble. Not little for us, but little for him. And then he enters into the bubble in a smaller form. This form is so small that it's only the size of the entire universe. The bubble. That's how small it is. It's the size.
Is that really small for the first Vishnu that you said?
Yes, the Mahavishnu,
it's like
the great Vishnu.
Mahavishnu.
Yes.
It's like really small, like
yes.
From Mahavishnu, like
yes.
the other Vishnu, he comes like it's like smaller than bubbles, right?
And so he also, Vishnu, his pastime is this yoga nidra. He lies down and rests. And from his body, a lotus flower blossoms from his belly button. And Lord
I read
Brahma,
this in the second canto.
Yes. And Lord Brahma is born. When he is born, he sees nothing. He can't see anything. And he sees that he's on a lotus, so he crawls all the way down and he can't even find a bottom. He crawls all the way down. There's never a bottom. He comes back up. He's like,
even if he just lets go and falls, he's never gonna fall, or sometime he's gonna fall.
No, it's like he just can't find the end.
Yeah, because it's so long, right?
Yes. And so he crawls all the way back up, and then he's like, okay, I got to figure this out. And then he hears a sound, tapa. What does that mean, Carlos?
Tapa means austerity.
Austerity, yes. And so he performs austerity. He does meditation for thousands of years of the demigods. Many thousands of celestial years.
Celestial years?
Yes. I think it's 3,600 years. 3,600 years is one celestial year. And so he does thousands of celestial years. And then he sees Krishna. Krishna comes and shakes his hand. And Krishna shows him the spiritual world and says, hey, I want you to make a replica, but a material replica. So in the spiritual world, you have animals, you have people, you have mountains, you have trees, you have all the variety you see here, but in its perfect form. Here is the replica, not exactly perfect. It's kind of like if you go to a wax museum and you see a wax statue of somebody, it doesn't exactly look so perfect. It's just a replica. If you get close, you can see it's not real. It's not a appropriate representation.
When I was reading.
Okay, quick.
When I was reading the second canto, Krishna was talking to Brahma. I don't know when, but then he ended up saying the first one translation. He said like good luck to you. And my mom, she died of laughing. But then I told her, look at the real word by word, and then it was auspicious unto you.
Nice. And then Okay, so I'm going to continue. And then what happens next, or not really next, but Krishna, so you know how he keeps on getting smaller? Vishnu keeps on getting smaller. He gets to a smaller form where he enters into the atom. He enters into the heart of all creatures. And that is known as Shirodakshayi Vishnu. And he also has his own abode along the milk ocean, Shirodakshayi Vishnu. And so he has a small form, and he's known as the Paramatma, the super soul within the hearts of all creatures. Therefore, you know, birds fly south for the winter. There's some intelligence, even within your own heart, there's some voice of intelligence. I was interviewed by a MTV producer. He was driving one day in LA at 2 a.m, and he heard this strong voice within his heart that said, "Stop!" And it was so strong and so abrasive that he immediately stopped his car. And very shortly, a huge dump truck ran the red light and went right through the street. And that car would have killed him. That truck would have killed him. But he said there was nothing sensory that should have indicated that he should stop. He could not hear the truck coming. He didn't see the truck coming. He just had this voice in his heart. And so he made a film called PGS. Instead of GPS, PGS, called Personal Guidance System. And he wanted to figure out, what is this personal guidance system that people have within their heart? And that is in the Vedic literature, in Bhagavad Gītā, the super soul. As Krishna says in chapter 15, text 15, Carlos G.
Sarvasichaham hriditani vishto matasmitirgyanam apohanam cha vedascha sarvai aham eva vedyo vedanta kritveda vid eva chaham.
So I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me comes knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. So Krishna is giving Carlos that remembrance. He is there. And by all the Vedas, I'm to be known. I'm the compiler of Vedanta and the knower of the Vedas and the goal as well. And so he wanted to understand what this was. So you have this big Vishnu, universe is coming out of his pores. Then you have the little big Vishnu, but not as big as that one, who's, Brahma, who was born from a lotus flower. And then you have the even smaller Vishnu, who's entered the heart of all creatures. He's even inside every single atom. And all of these Vishnus are coming from Narayan in the spiritual world. Vishnu in the spiritual world. Now, apparently, Narayan's source, actually the Narayan source is the Chaturvyuha, Shankarshan, Vasudev, Sankarshan, Praduma, Aniruddha, and their source is another before them, another Chaturvyuha, Sankarshan, Praduma, Vasudev, Sankarshan, Praduma, Aniruddha, and then Balaram, and then Krishna. Sorry, I hope I don't get everyone lost, but apparently Brahma's source, the source of Vishnu, was walking on earth playing tag with his friends. And Brahma is like, is that kid who is playing tag, and he's, he has food in his left hand. You're not even supposed to use your left hand for food. Is that really my Lord? Is that my Father? Is that the source of all existence? This 6-year-old kid? Come on. I have to test him. It just was too bewildering to accept. So while Krishna was with his cowherd friends, Krishna had recently graduated from kindergarten. Oh man, okay, hold on, let me see. It says your computer is running low on space. I think it's gonna stop the recording soon. I deleted, I made some space. Let's see, is there anything big?
If you delete the recording, then where will we get the recording of Shloka group?
Yeah, I got to delete something else that's on the computer. Let's see, anything downloads? Let's see, any big downloads? Sorry. Maybe this one. Okay, I'll delete that. Boom. And empty recycle bin. All right, that should do it for now. I don't know. Next time I'll record in the cloud. I think that'll work better. All right. So where are we? What's happening? Who remembers?
You were just talking about the story of Krishna playing with the gopis.
What happened? Did Krishna just graduate from kindergarten? Yes. So when you graduate, kindergarten, or I guess second grade in Vrindavan, you get to take care of baby calves. And so Krishna and his friends just started taking care of calves, and they were allowed to go out into the forest, go out into the fields with their calves and have beautiful picnics, wonderful picnics. Actually, all the mothers, they had such a deep attraction to Krishna that they wanted to have Krishna as their own son. That was their hidden, deep desire. He's so sweet, so charming, so beautiful. He's so kind. He's very funny. He's just intoxicating. You're just so attractive, so compelling. So all the mothers, they wanted to have Krishna as their son. And so when they would send their sons out to have a picnic, they would make super delicious food, super delicious prasadam. And they would hope that their sons would share that prasadam with Krishna. You had a question? You had a question, Karuna?
No, I forgot.
All right. So, and the boys, they would play all kinds of games, sometimes fun games, sometimes mischief games. Sometimes like Krishna, they would say, Krishna, Anna, could you put yours on mute? There's a little background.
Oh, sorry.
No problem.
Actually,
got some background noise too. Could you
Really?
put it on mute if you're not speaking?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I just wanted to say that that sometimes when Krishna steals butter, like we make some semolina, and then mommy serves it on a plate on the counter, and then I'm Krishna stealing the semolina, and then sometimes I get caught.
Yes. You could make I was thinking someone could make a video game called Krishna Run, and it's Krishna running from his mom because he's stolen butter. So they're like, Krishna, close your eyes and I'll give you a delicious sweet. And Krishna closes his eyes. And one of his friends sticks a flower in his mouth. Bitter flower. It probably tastes delicious to Krishna though, because it's with love, but he still reacts. Actually, there was a devotee, he was so much in love with Krishna. It's Vidura's wife. And she offered to Krishna, because she was in Krishna's presence, and she was starstruck with love for Krishna, that she peeled the banana, threw out the banana, and offered Krishna the peel. And Krishna, he ate that
I
peel.
can't believe that story.
He loved it. He would just, because what does Krishna eat? He eats the love that the devotees are offering him. So all the boys would surround Krishna. They would have a picnic. It was like a flower. Krishna was the middle of the flower, and all his friends were the petals. And
Like,
they're like,
actually looked like that. Like Krishna would sit.
artistic. Oh, you're on mute now. Can't hear you.
Like, so Krishna would sit in the middle, and then it would be like a flower, like of the boys, like 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yes,
5, like
yeah.
that.
Yeah. They would all just want to see his face and interact with him. And so Krishna, they would say, "Hey Krishna, my mom tried this sweet, made this wonderful sweet. Want to try it?" And they would put it in his mouth. You know, it's like, oh, very nice. So at one point they're having their picnic, and some of the boys said, "Krishna, where are our calves? I don't see them. They're gone. Where are our calves? They could get hurt. Our parents would be so upset." And Krishna told them, "Don't worry. I'll go look for them. You all sit here, and I'll go find them." And so Krishna, he still had some food in his hand, and he had his mala. You know what Krishna uses his japa mala for?
For what?
Counting cows. Got his cows.
What?
Yes. Got to keep track of all of his
Really?
cows. Yes. So Krishna's going out in the forest calling his cows, because what happened? Brahma had kidnapped all of the cows. Then, while Krishna's gone, Brahma kidnaps all of Krishna's friends. He knows what's going on, but he's playing along. So Brahma is a little
Puffed
what? Puffed up?
up.
Yeah, a little puffed up. But he's also a little worried about what he did. So he came back really quickly, as fast as he could. He was very nervous about what he did. So he came back very fast.
But that was 1 year for Earth.
And for Brahma, it was 97 thousandths of a second. So small. If you heard a loud sound for 97 thousandths of a second, you couldn't even hear it. It would be so fast. So Brahma came back instantly, not even a second long, just a tiny, tiny fraction of a second, to see what was the outcome. And a year had passed on Earth. You know, we generally attribute the theory of relativity of time to Albert Einstein, but it's clearly
Could Brahma come back? Could Brahma come back and like? Could Brahma come back and like in 1 day of Earth, or like 10
year of
seconds
Earth.
of Earth?
1 year.
Can he do it? Can he come back in like 1 second of Earth, or no?
For his place and back? No, that was too quick. 1 second for Brahma is 97,000 Earth years.
Well,
one of his seconds is 97,000 Earth years. There was a king who was looking for a suitable husband for his daughter. And he went to Brahma's abode. And he said, "I'm looking for someone to marry my daughter. She is incomparable. No one, I have not found any human-like being in this existence that is suitable for her, because she is so special." And Brahma said, "Hey, you've been here for about 30 minutes. So millions of years have passed since your absence from your own abode. But if you wait just a few more moments, Lord Balaram will be taking birth on Earth, and your daughter can be his wife.
Wow.
Yes. So the theory of relativity of time is clearly there in the Vedic literature. So Brahma came back and he saw all the same cowherd boys. Now he put them in a sleeping spell and put them in a different dimension. But when
What's
he
the
came back,
dimension?
like a different place, secret space. When he came back, he saw all the same exact boys and all the same exact calves there.
You couldn't find any difference because Krishna is perfect, right?
Yes. And Krishna has this quality that we're going to discuss. So Krishna had actually he multiplied his own form to appear exactly like his own friends. And their exact same demeanors, forms, attitudes, characteristics, quirks, all their particular personal traits, and his own calves. Now, every mother wanted Krishna as their son. And so Krishna, for a whole year, was actually living in their homes as their sons. It was Krishna, but he was appearing in the form of all of his friends. And all the cows also had this affection for Krishna. They wanted Krishna as if he could be my calf. And Krishna fulfilled their desire. And so there was one person who discovered what happened. Who knows who that person is?
Balaram?
Balaram. See, Balaram wasn't there at the picnic. That day he was gone because one of his uncles was visiting. Sometimes Balaram's not there.
I thought it was Balaram's birthday.
Well, I thought so too. And I read the Gopal Champu this week. I read it, and I always thought that it was Balaram's
What's Gopal
birthday.
Champu?
Gopal Champu
Like,
is Stories of Krishna written by Jiva Goswami. And so I always heard it was his birthday. That's why he wasn't there. But actually, in Gopal Champu, it says his uncle was visiting, so he didn't go out with Krishna.
Now we're mixed up. I don't know if it was the uncle who was visiting or his birthday.
Birthday, Balaram's birthday was during the Kaliya pastime. And that's why Balaram was not at the water with Krishna during the Kaliya pastime. Remember, Krishna went out.
I've seen many movies. Balaram with the Kaliya. Balaram with Krishna and Kaliya.
No, Balaram comes there, and he's holding everybody back. So what's happening is Krishna's fighting the big giant snake Kaliya, and the people in Vrindavan notice all this bad omens in the sky, and they're worried about Krishna, and so they run and follow his footprints. And Balaram is holding them back, saying, "Don't go in the water. Krishna's very strong. He can take care of the snake. Don't worry." So Balaram he's with the group of people that are coming from Vrindavan to the lake. So he wasn't with Krishna at the lake originally because it was his birthday, according to Gopal Champu, which I read earlier this week. Okay, so nice. We are with Balaram actually discovered what happened. He was, like we said, he was with his uncle. They had some relative visit.
Like he was Krishna, like he knew.
He didn't know with his omniscience. He learned by his intelligence. He saw something.
How?
He saw something peculiar. One day, there was a big cliff, like a big, huge mountain, and the man and the cows were on the top of the cliff, and the boys and the calves were on the bottom of the cliff. When the
Can
cows,
you say that again? I didn't get it.
So there was a big mountain, and the men are on the top with the cows, And the boys are on the bottom with the baby cows, the calves. When the cows see their calves, the cows start running down the hill. And with great love, milk is gushing out of their udders. And the men are very upset, sad, and embarrassed that all their cows are running away. And so they're like, hey, hey. But when they see their sons, they also start running down the hill. Tears are gushing out of their eyes. And they pick up their sons when they get to the bottom of the hill and they kiss them and they say, I love you, my son. I haven't seen you for like 30 minutes. Ah! And the cows are licking the calves. And the men are kissing their sons and smelling their heads and hugging them. And Balaram is looking at all of this. And he's like, what's going on? Nobody can pull your heart like that other than Krishna. Those aren't real boys. Those aren't real calves. Those must be Krishna, because nobody can make you feel that way other than Krishna. Nobody can Chita Hari, Mano Hari, steal your heart. Remember this word Hari means to steal, to take, and Mana means mind or heart, or Chitta means heart. Krishna is the thief of the heart. So nobody could steal your heart that way. It must be Krishna. So after a year had happened, Brahma comes back, and Krishna turns all of his friends and all the cows in magnificent, all-powerful Vishnu forms. And Brahma is struck with awe and reverence. So much and fear and so much
Why fear?
power. Just like, it's like you see a giant wave, or like you look at the Grand Canyon, it's like something so wow that it's just, he feels like his life is going to leave his body. It's just so, it's so like he was about to faint. He was so surprised. And it is during that time he offered some wonderful prayers. So now we're going to look at the prayer. That was a long roundabout way of telling you the prayer. Okay, so you guys ready?
I think we're running out of time already.
Yes, a lot of storytelling this time. You should, we're sure not as long.
Oh, by the way, I know, about Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto, chapter 4.
For some reason, it's the connection's very choppy. I couldn't hear.
Me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I know chapter 10, text 14, canto 10, chapter 14, text 8.
Oh.
You want me to recite it?
Yes.
Satenukam pasu samekshamano bhujanya evatma kritam vipakam vidvagva purvi vidadana maste jivedoyo mukti pade sadebhak.
Very nice. That's a very important verse. So this is Atite Deva Padam Bhuja Dvaya Prasad Lesha Anugrihita Evahi Janati Tatvam Bhagavan Mahimno Nachanya Eko Pichiram Vichinvan. My Lord, if one is favored even by a slight trace of the mercy of your lotus feet, he can understand the greatness of your personality. But those who speculate to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that's the Gyanis, those who, specifically those without devotion, who are just trying to understand by what is called neti, not this, not that, not this, not that, just kind of guessing and speculating. You just with their own intelligence, are unable to know you, even though they continue to study the Vedas for many years. What is that verse that we know about many, many births of speculating? Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyante. And that's more so the jnani that has some devotion. One cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his form simply by mental speculation or by discussing Vedic literature. One must understand him through devotional service. This is also something you find in the 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gītā. In the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gītā, there's a famous verse, Bhaktyamam abhijanati. I'm only understood by bhakti. That's how you can understand me as I am, standing before you.
Bhagavad Gītā?
18, maybe 56 or something like that.
Oh, okay. I don't know that one, but I know 1866.
Okay, so let's look at the verse since I've been long-winded today. Any questions or comments? Carlos G, Carmen G, Nagashayan.
No, not that I can think of right now.
Mr. Ken, any questions?
No, thank you.
Avyaktam vaktim apanam manyate mam apudaya buddhyaha param bhavam ajanato mama aviyam anutamam. Let's see if Carlos knows. What is ajanata? Ajananto. I don't know if I'm thinking we dealt with a verse with that previously in chapter 15 or maybe even chapter 7. Does that sound familiar to you? Avajananti mamudha. I think that's chapter 9.
Yeah, I don't seem to remember.
Jana means to know. Jana. Ajanata means not knowing. Ken, you may see this common theme here, is when you put the A, you just switch the meaning most often, like you have
without knowledge.
Theists and atheists. Abudya, wisdom, wise, less intelligent. So those who are less intelligent, let's see, the unintelligent men, me, who do not know me perfectly, think that I, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, was impersonal before and now have assumed this personality. Due to their small knowledge, they do not know my higher nature. Param bhavam. Bhavam can mean existence. It can mean form. Param means super, supreme. Param atma, super soul. It can mean like superior or beyond or kind of excellent. They don't know my existence, my form, is transcendental. It is beyond everything of this world. It is superb. Mama aviyam. It is also, this word, it comes up a lot in Bhagavad Gītā, a whole lot. Imperishable. And anutamam, refined, the finest, excellent. Imperishable and supreme. So they don't know my higher nature, which is imperishable and supreme. So just before we get there, how many of you, let's see, where is Kenji? Have you ever heard of a person named Shankaracharya?
You talking to me?
Yes, yes.
Oh, yes, I have.
Okay, so and you're a little familiar with the Shankaracharya, I'm you, you're me, it's all one.
Yeah, yes.
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 So although this verse here is before the time of Shankaracharya, it is really that kind of concept which is being clarified in this verse. Shankaracharya was a actually divine personality that came to bring people to not the highest stage, but a higher stage. First, you had the appearance of Buddha, who stopped the animal sacrifices. People in the Vedic culture were killing animals in the name of religion, and instead of trying to reform it, he said, let's just reset and let's start with some basic moral principles of nonviolence. It is too corrupt to try to reform at this point. So let's just get everyone some basic understanding of compassion and respect for all creatures. And the effect of the Buddha was that animal sacrifices practically stopped. Even if people weren't Buddhists, Buddhism started in India, it affected all of India. Then you had Shankaracharya, who kind of waved the Vedic flag, basically not introduced, but kind of put the Vedic philosophy in the forefront, but kind of appealing to a Buddhistic audience. So that way, he did not really present Bhagavan, or the Supreme Person. So in the Vedas, you have many statements that speak of oneness, a shared unity of all things and all creatures. And then you have many verses, like in the end of chapter 15 of the Bhagavad Gītā, where clearly talk about difference. Carlos knows what we're talking about. We have the verses of Bhagavad Gītā, chapter 15, verse 16. He says there are two types of beings, the liberated and the conditioned. And he says, but then above them, there's me. This is the, and because I'm beyond both the liberated condition, I'm celebrated. Lokaveda chaprahita purushottam, I'm celebrated as a Supreme Person. So that distinction between God and the soul is also there. That verses 15, 16, 17, very clear in chapter 15 about that distinction. Because according to the philosophy of oneness, if you're liberated, then you are the Supreme. But here it says the liberated condition, and then he's above both. So Shankaracharya was appealing to the kind of non-theistic practitioners, spiritual practitioners, and he brought them to a higher level, from zero to oneness. So from voidism to monism. And then after Shankaracharya came Madhvacharya, Ramanuja, and they're saying too, no, there's God in you. And then Lord Chaitanya came after, saying, no, it's actually also one and two. There is a eminence, there is a unique blend of everything being connected to the Supreme, but there's also simultaneously, inconceivably, a distinction, a difference between the God and his energies. So achintya, inconceivable oneness and difference. And so Krishna here is saying that someone who thinks that he's just oneness, that he was just some unmanifested thing, that person doesn't really have wisdom. It's not smart. It is less intelligent. Abudaya. Any questions? And then we'll go straight into practicing. Okay. Let's see. We have our let's see if Nagashayan is here. Nagashayan, you want to lead us in some chanting?
Sure, Prabhu, sure. Avyaktam vyaktimapannam.
And I was to say, you can keep everybody else, you can keep your mic on mute, but do chant along with him.
Avyaktam vyaktimapannam manyante mama buddhayaha param bhavamajananto mama vyayamanutamam. अव्यक्तं व्यक्तिमापन्नम् अव्यक्तं व्यक्तिमापन्नम् अव्यक्तं व्यक्तिमापन्नम् मन्यन्ते मामबुद्धयः मन्यन्ते मामबुद्धयः मन्यन्ते मामबुद्धयः अव्यक्तं व्यक्तिमापन्नं मन्यन्ते मामबुद्धयः परं भावमजानन्तो परं भावमजानन्तो परं भावमजानन्तो ममाव्ययमनुत्तमम् 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 अव्यक्तं व्यक्तिमापन्नं मन्यन्ते मामबुद्धयः परं भावमजानन्तो ममाव्ययमनुत्तमम् अव्यक्तं व्यक्तिमापन्नं मन्यन्ते मामबुद्धयः परं भावमजानन्तो ममाव्ययमनुत्तमम् Yeah, Prabhu, like if any one of you unmute and practice, it will be great.
Yes, Anna, you're up to the plate. Yes. Can you read the first line?
Okay, I will do my best. Avyaktam vyaktim apanam.
Avyaktam vyaktim apanam.
Avyaktam vyaktim apanam.
Manyate mam abhudayaha.
Manyante nam abudaya abudaya.
Param bhavam ajananto.
Param bhamam ajananto.
Mama avayam anutamam.
Mama vyayam anutamam.
Very nice, very nice. Carmenji, bolo.
Okay. I need help pronouncing them. The sentence. Avyaktam yaktim apanam.
Yes. Vyaktim apanam.
Yaktim apanam. Manyante mam abudaya.
Manyante mam abhudayaha.
Param bhavam ajananto.
Param bhavam ajananto.
Ajananto. Mama vyayam anutamam.
Mama avyayam anutamam. Very good, very good. Carlos G.
Yes, Prabhu. I'll give it a try. Avyaktam vyaktim apanam
Vyaktim apanam.
manyante mam abudaya.
Manyante mam abudayaha.
Param bhavam ajananto
Param bhavam ajananto.
mama avyayam anutamam.
Mama avyayam anutamam. Very nice. Let's see. How about Karuna?
Yes. Avyaktam vyaktim apanam manyante mam abudayaha param bhavam ajananto mama vyayam anutamam.
Very nice. So Ken, how about I will say one line and then you repeat after me.
Okay.
Avyaktam vyaktim apanam.
Avyaktam vyaktam apananam
Manyante mam abudayaha.
manayante mam abudeyaha
Param bhavam ajananto.
param bhavam ajananto
Mama avyayam anutamam.
mama avyam anutamam.
And so one of the practices is to daily chant whatever verse you have learned. So if you're starting, today on this verse 24, then 6 weeks from now, it'd be good if you're chanting every day 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, and 29, 30. And you'll find, 6 weeks from now, this verse 24 will be very natural for you, because and then the verse 30 will be not so natural for you. There'll also be an overall improvement, because you'll become more familiar with the Sanskrit chanting, and also just even recognizing certain words. We come across a lot of the same words. We try to build a good vocabulary, so when we see the verse, we can remember what it's about. It can be good to also just try to remember the translation. But if you can present an authentic, summary, just in your own words, by looking at by remembering, and some of that can depend on how familiar, if somebody's read Bhagavad Gītā 15 times or heard like dozens and dozens of lectures on Bhagavad Gītā, then they might have already, the idea of the verse is already solidified in their head, and it's just the verse reminding them of that. If it's something that is within a couple years, then it can be a little harder. But the idea is to memorize this perfectly will not be as easy as memorizing the Sanskrit perfectly, because it's like a song, and it can be done. There's no problem memorizing the English perfectly. But the idea is that we definitely want to, in all cases, we want to make sure we understand the meaning. Srila Prabhupada, they had some children chant Bhagavad Gītā verses, and they chanted like a chapter to Srila Prabhupada. And he said, "Oh, that's very nice." They said, "Now, what's the meaning?" And they're like, "Ah." It's like, no, we got to know what it's about. we have to actually have some understanding of what's it about. We don't want to be like a parrot. What's a parrot do? A parrot, he may chant something, but if then you grab the parrot by the throat, he won't chant. You go. So we don't want to be like in our time of desperation, at the time of death, that we don't remember the chants because we never, we're kind of consciously aware of what they're talking about. We're just, saying them like a parrot. So, it takes it. That's why we do encourage devotees to get on the WhatsApp group, and we practice more and more throughout the week. And even if it's not so easy, it's the just doing it. If you could do a few minutes every day, to chant this verse 2 times might take you 1 minute. So what's Anna Sairo? Do you have the email? Because it should be, there's a link in the email. Carlos says writing the verse down, writing the Sanskrit down. We can even write it out phonetic. So if you have the email, or if you have the calendar invite, it should be a link in there. If not, if you can't find it, just email me and we'll send it out. And so we can meet during the week. But even if it does still seem hard, if it's done a little bit every day, it's the ones that you worked on weeks ago are the ones that are going to be very solid, and the ones that you're now just working are always going to be a little rough and hard to do. And they build up on each other. It's a song that's building and building. Just the lyrics of a song that we're memorizing. No? Any questions? So just one more time, we'll do a little chant. Vyaktam vyaktim apanam manyante mam abhudayaha param bhavam ajananto mama avyayam anutamam. This class is a little bit more storytelling than usual. Sometimes we spend a little more time practicing it. So if you find yourself, wait a minute, I don't really know it so well, don't worry. Well, we can kind of find out some time for us to meet during the week. Everybody give us a little tiny takeaway, something to take away. Anna, give us something gonna take home with this verse. It's like you went to the restaurant, you couldn't eat it all. What did you take home with you? You got to, take a little basket home.
Well, I think I was thinking, because last time I got like somehow lost with sometimes in the Gita, like you are listening to some words that have like a special meaning, but it has like how do you say it, like a more deeply like meaning in it. Like, for example, we were talking last time, I remember, about the apple or the different things of the fruits. So I was like remembering that thing. And this time about like the supreme, and the thing about the knowledge, and listening to the story of Brahma, I think is also wonderful. Like reading and writing and chanting like these locals is really nice, but when you have like a teacher, you have a group that somehow we can share it and get it into like deeply, is, I think, I don't know, I get it like that. I will think it about this week. That kind of knowledge that you were sharing, or that was in this local of today. So it's something like that, like how deeply you can get, and somehow you need to be like guided in a shame pattern. So something like that.
Well, thank you so much. Nice. Dana Kay has got to go. She says, thank you so much for the class. It was great. Have a good day. Jai. And Carlos, he says, I agree the stories give deeper context. Jai. Carlos, would you like anything you want to share? Any reflection?
Not too much, Prabhu. I really agreed with what Anna just said. And I've been missing the past couple of weeks, so it's kind of nice to come back and hear these stories and do some shloka practice too.
Nice.
Thank you.
Good to have you. Karuna G, tell us something. What will you remember for today?
Always keep your intelligence, never let go of it.
Yes. What if material desires try to steal your intelligence? Do you let them?
Nope.
No, you hold on to your intelligence. Yes, keep on.
Hold on good intelligence, not bad intelligence.
Yes, yeah. We don't want to engage your intelligence for our material desires. You know this word rationalize? Have you heard of this word rationalize?
Familiar, but I don't know what it means.
So rationalize is when we make reasons for doing something. Like a bank robber might rationalize why it's okay to rob a bank. Now, there is a way you can understand out the word rationalize. It's when you ration out your lies. Ration means like a portion, when you give out your lies. So we don't want to use our intelligence in a way that's bad. Correct. Very good statement.
Also, sometimes when I have to do my studies or I have to do something, I'm always told like you do this and then you can get this. But I try to like get my way through to get that thing first and then do it.
Yes, you are a clever kid.
And I always trick my dad.
Oh my God. Just like Krishna. He's a trickster. All right, Carmen G, tell us something. What do you want to keep with you?
I think it would be how like you can't really understand Krishna unless you have like bhakti. You can't really understand him. And I think it's like nice to have bhakti anyway, because when you give love to Krishna, he reciprocates it.
Very nice.
And then it becomes so much more.
Nagashayan Prabhu.
Prabhu, today's session was very nice, Prabhu. Like I like the story of Brahma. I just wanted to share one point, what I understood. Like the Brahma means is highest, like Vaishnava, like he himself forgotten the real position of Krishna because of the Maya. We are mere creatures. How easily we can be manipulated by Maya. That's why we should be very careful about these materialistic things and desires and all. Even Brahma can forget Krishna, means it's very easily, we can easily forget his real position because of these material desires and all. And one more point I wanted to take from this session is like Krishna can be understood by only by his mercy and his devotees' mercy. Nothing else. Like so many people, we keep on learning the Vedas for years together, but still they cannot understand Krishna until and unless they have the mercy of Krishna himself and the greatest Vaishnavas. Yeah,
that's true.
That's what, yeah.
And there are some scholars in specifically Gaudiya Vaishnavism that like know very so much details of the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all these things, but because they aren't Vaishnavas, they can't understand Krishna. They, they'll know more. They'll have more Bhagavatam verses memorized than the devotees, but still don't understand Krishna, because without the love, you cannot understand. Without some connection and reciprocation, trying to connect. If it's just a intellectual exercise, something you do for your job, as a teacher, and it's not. Krishna says, what is this? Karuna. What is this verse? He says, the verse in the Brahma Samhita where he says, I'm meant to be understood through the Vedas. What is that verse?
Which one?
It has the word Veda. Has the word Veda in it. Well, while we go there, let's hear from Ken. No, let's hear from Ken. Kenneth.
Hi, thank you. Yeah, I enjoyed also enjoyed the stories. Even though I read the Mahavishnu story before, I think I will I'll never forget this. The imagery of the bubbles coming out of the skin has never been so illuminating as the way you told it. I love that. And I also really appreciated Karuna's questioning. It's so inspiring to see such an intelligent, smart young girl with such smart questions. And yeah, that was really, really very delightful. So I enjoyed the class. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, Karuna is our star. Yeah, very nice. Last week she was going in ecstasy. She was doing this, going in ecstasy the whole time. I don't know if all of you could see her. She was immersed in ecstasy. I just want to read that one verse, and then we can all just read that one verse. Here's Brahma Samhita Veda. Let me just type in. How do I find some of the
Which text?
Veda? Let's see. Veda. Oh, here we go. Text 33. Oh yeah, this one. You know this one.
Advaitam achyutam anadyam anantarupam adyam purana purusham navayovanam cha vedeshu durlabam adurlabam atma bhaktu govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami.
This is such a cool verse. At some point, we should all do this one.
I know it so much. Sometimes I get bored of it because it's always when I first learned it, it was always going and rounding my head almost all the time. I get bored of it.
So Advaitam, he means he is no equal without a Dvaita, without a second. He's Achyutam. He just doesn't fail. He has no Adi, no beginning. Anadim. And he has unlimited forms, Ananta Rupam. And although he is the Adi Purana Purusham, he is the oldest person. Purusha, person. Purana, old. Adi, first. He's Nava Yovanam. He's ever youthful. Vedeshu Dur Labam. Remember we read this word Laba? Laba means to attain, and Dur means difficult. He's very difficult to obtain. He's inaccessible through the Vedas. But he's not difficult to obtain through devotion of the soul. Govindamadi Purusham Namaha. This Lord, this is Brahma, the same Brahma we were talking about earlier. He's saying, that's the Lord that I worship. So, thank you very much. Om Tat Sat. Thanks a lot. Hare Krishna.
Hari Om Tat.
For being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.